Hello, beautiful creatives. One of the things that I like to do when I'm feeling stuck, when my fatigue levels are really high and pain levels are really high, and I just don't feel like I just don't actually have a lot of energy to put into work, is I'll just come up to the studio and see what I already have out, see what I have access to. I have leftover acrylic paint in here, so I could just do some palette cleanup pages. Michael bought me these Mungyo water-soluble oil pastels, so I'm actually thinking of, boy, that sun is bright, isn't it? I'm actually thinking of swatching those out to start with. This was the drawing I did last night for the 100-day project. That was day 7, a self-portrait with one of those really funky colored pencils that I've shown you guys. One of these, I have some of these down in the art nest, and these are fun. I did this, what is the name of these? It's kind of hard to see with that bright sun, but I keep some of these in my art nest and some of these up here. But so that was for day 7. The sun is so bright, I should have closed the curtain. And I don't, right at this moment, I don't feel like getting into anything that involved. I grabbed this sketchbook and just flipped through a few pages. And the owl looks fun. And just this kind of messing around with colors. That's kind of a fun page to just play around with. So, and then I have one of my David Hockney studies. I actually have filmed this. I need to put this up either on Patreon or YouTube. I'm not sure where I'm going to put that video up, but different things that I have out in my pastels, my new pastels. So I have options. There's plenty of things to be inspired by, but still, sometimes just looking at these things can be enough of a jumping off point, and I can feel, okay, yeah, I can sum up the energy. Today, my energy is super low, and I don't feel like I can sum up the energy. So what I'm going to start with is just swatching these Mungyo Aquarelleable pastels that Michael gave me, and and then see if I can get some energy going from that. So that's like my biggest tip or the other thing is look through some of your art books. Grab an art book. These are great for that. These art books, these, the freehand, watercolor, just add watercolor, drawn from life, botanicals. Let's grab one of these. Grab the botanical one. Sorry, I'm spinning you around. And I'm probably going to have to close my curtain if I'm going to show this to you. But, or maybe I'll just go over to my other table. But these little books on Amazon are really great for getting inspiration. You can just sort of flip through and, you look at something like that. Maybe I feel like doing some loose watercolor flowers or, whatever. Just maybe you flip through and not feel like, anything inspires you that much. This actually is a great idea. I love that idea. Doing some just loose leaves. That's a great way to get to know your colors. I think I'm going to keep that out. That might actually be a fun project for me to do today. So there you go. Sort of flip through your sketchbooks, look at the supplies that you already have out, and go from there. A lot of times it will be enough to stimulate you into getting a jumping off point, getting an idea to get you started on something creative for your studio session for the day. So I think what I'm going to do is swatch out these oil pastels. This sketchbook is almost finished, and I have another one. I mean, this is really close to finished. And I have another one that that is done, that I've been holding on to forever to do a sketchbook tour. So maybe what I'll do is work on finishing this one up, and that's where it's really good to get clear on how you're feeling, those of you with chronic illness, on how you're feeling, you know, whether you struggle with chronic illness or depression or pain, grief, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's just if you come up to your studio or your creative space and you get really clear about where you are energy wise, you're going to have a better session. Because when I drew this last night, I felt really inspired to paint a self-portrait. And the truth is, and I woke up feeling that way. I thought, oh my gosh, I'd love to. I'm still taking that Misty Mon workshop and poetry and art. And I thought, oh, I really would love to do another. I did one self-portrait in her workshop, and I really would love to do another really loose painted self-portrait, or like more expressive. The other one was, let me grab the other one and show you. You know, sort of a fantasy, expressive, imaginary self-portrait. Misty's work has a lot of this stuff in it, and I find this kind of work really inspiring. So I was thinking I wanted to do another self-portrait like that, but the truth is, I 100% do not have that kind of energy this morning. So instead, I'm going to do something that will be less frustrating for me, and that is swatching out these pastels. And the truth is, by doing that and having a relaxing time, I'm not even going to do the white because, well, I always say that and then I do it. Oh, it's a dirty white. Yeah, I've used these, so these are dirty. So I guess maybe we'll be cleaning them up during this swatching session. Kind of clean that tip off. Yeah, some of these might be dirty because I kind of got carried away with these the other day. It's a nice flush tone. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling on, but the point that I'm trying to make is assess your energy and pain levels when you get to your creative space. Don't be overly ambitious at first, because the biggest thing that I hear from people is, I can't, I'm too tired, I'm too busy, and I'm too stressed, my pain levels are too high. And I think what's happens is people are showing up with expectations too high for what creating is. And I know I like, this is my mantra. I repeat this all the time, but it doesn't have to be art to be beneficial, you know? Swatching is great. It's very relaxing. Just putting, you know, stuff on paper like that sort of abstract page that I showed you, all of that is really beneficial. And in most cases, especially in the cases of where people have chronic illness and such, it's more calming and healing than actually trying to plunge into something more challenging. And a lot of times when you just start out this way, after a while, you know, maybe the relaxation of just doing something gentle and easy like this will bring your energy levels up. And that's what happens with me a lot. I'll come up, I'll look around, I'll see what's easy to grab and easy to do, and I'll do that. And you know what? Sometimes that's it. Sometimes after that, I have to leave the studio and go rest. I mean, a lot of times, that's it. I just have to go rest. And I'm lucky enough that my bedroom's right across the hall, so I can do that. I can just go over there and lay down, put my legs up. But, you know, other times, it's enough of a rest just doing something like this that I feel energized afterwards, and I can do some sort of more ambitious work of art or craft project or whatever. I'm going to, after I get these, I might run out of room. I might have to do a second column. I'm going to add water to these to show you how they are with their aquarelleable qualities. Oh, I love this. This is Payne's Gray. It looks like it. Oh, Prussian blue. Huh, I'll be darned. I thought that was Payne's Gray. I love this green color. I guess I'm going to have to do a second column, which isn't going to leave me. Should I do another page? Why don't I wipe these out first, and then let me grab a brush. I want a firmer brush, I think. A little bit of a firmness to it. This is just Dynasty Dynasty Black Gold number 10. Isn't that funny how different the numbers are for different brands? A number 10 seems large to me, and that's so tiny. But here's my messy white. It's not going to really show. I think it's really, really, really hard. Oh yeah, I can do a second column here. They don't spread like watercolor. Little bit of spread. I think maybe I used too much water in the first couple of ones. Kind of diluted the pigment too much. Oops, I did a bit of water in that one too. These are really different than Neocolors. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll put some of my Neocolor 2s next to these. It's one of those things that you probably have to feel it for yourself to be able to tell, but they have a different feel. They're creamier than Neocolors. They're less waxy feeling, and that's probably because they're an oil pastel. I mean, I'm assuming that the makeup of these is more like water-soluble oil paints, although they have some kind of smell, but it's so mild. I can barely smell it, and also it doesn't smell like oil. I should have put more of that one down. What was that one? That was this one. Can you guys see my... Should have put more of that down. I feel like I skimped on that one. And I'm going to be interested to see when this dries. Yeah, I think when this dries, these are going to be set. I don't think it'll be like, you know, oil pastels where you have to put a fixative on them. I don't know. I like these a lot. These were on my wish list for a long time. And I thought about my Amazon wish list. I thought about asking for them for Christmas, but I already had some things picked out for Dawn to get me, like those crazy pencils that I showed you guys that I did the self-portrait with. So I didn't want to add more stuff. And then Michael grabbed them for me, and I really like them so much. Wow. I'm excited to kind of put some Neocolors next to them and just see. I didn't put even coats of these down. I kind of went fast and probably could have done a little better on that. Let me put a little more here. I wasn't even planning on filming today. That's so often the case. I'm not planning on filming, but then I'm going through a thought process that I think is valuable to share with you guys. You know, like not feeling like working, but feeling like working. Does that make sense? I really wanted to do a painting of a self-portrait. Let's see, where was I? That's that. So this must be this one. I feel like I didn't do this enough. And I do love this color here. This is such a great color. What is this color? Burnt sienna or something? Dark ochre. This paper is not liking this scrubby brush. Wow. Yeah, these are different. These are different. You can do it lightly, which I did in, where was that piece I did? So that you have the marks show. Was it in this sketchbook I did one? I think it was on Patreon I did it. This. Yeah, you can do it in a way so that your marks, your crayon marks, pastel marks, still really show through, which I like. It's very gestural and expressive. Or doing it this way, it looks like you can blend it right out. And this is very smooth Art Creations paper. So you're going to get, if you use paper with texture, you're going to get an even different result. feel like I didn't put enough of that Prussian blue down either. Wasn't pressing very hard when I put these down. You can press harder and get more of a spread on them. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. Do I have room to do them here? I don't want to really crunch them in. I think I'll put a piece of paper between these and go back a page. This color I love. What is this color? Olive. Such a pretty color. Pretty, pretty, pretty. This time I'll push a little harder so I have more pigment to work with. You know, they're not nowhere near as sticky or smudgy as regular oil pastels. They're stiffer. It's a good mix of colors, actually. For a small set, I feel like it's a nice mix of colors. Oh, that's another thing. I wonder how they mix. You know, I really did not intend to film a swatching video about this product, but that looks, ooh, that looks like how it's turning out. Oh, this one's really soft. This one actually feels more like, now that's interesting because I did do a drawing that I actually didn't even show because it went so wrong, and that was with the black. The black is really smudgy. I'll tell you that right now. I experienced that. I did a drawing, let me see if I can find it, where I outlined, yes, this. I outlined everything with black first, and then I went in with the colors to smudge it, and the black smudged into everything. After you get it wet, it's not as smudgy, but the black is very reactive. I actually had to go back over her face and her yellow shirt with some gesso just to try to push the black back. So, yeah, don't do what I did. don't outline a drawing, draw a drawing with black and then try to fill it in with the other colors and think it's gonna not make a mess. You know, because you can do that with like a Stabilo if you're careful. A Stabilo marks all, but yeah, it didn't work with these. Not the black, it's different. It's really different. Has a different quality than the other colors. Like I said, much more like a black oil pastel, a true oil pastel. Look how these blend. Ow. This is a really unique product. And see, this is what happens with me, and I really think it can happen with you. I see it happen with my patrons in the Facebook group. They start out, you know, really tired or stressed or not feeling well, and then they get out one of their products to play with, and they're just going to swatch, or they're just going to play, and then they end up really, and yeah, look at that, really inky. This is nice, but you want to be careful with it. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous inky black. Wow. So I'm just curious, like for some mixing here, if I took some yellow, I have no idea how pure these pigments are or not, so I don't know if this is going to work. Put a good thing of yellow down, maybe even a little bit of warm yellow. And then take this black and see what happens. A little bit of water with this black into here and see if I get a good range of greens with the black and the yellow. Yeah, you do get some greens, some good muddy greens. You know, you need muted greens in landscapes, and that's going to give you a real nice range of muted. Yeah. I don't know if you can see how green that is. Sometimes my camera makes colors go weird. I know when I play videos on my TV, the colors go really weird. I think my TV's on a weird setting because the colors in other people's videos go real weird. All right, so what I want to do is just take, oh, I don't know. I've got my Neocolors. You know, I didn't even mean to film this, so I don't have my mic on. I hope the sound's going to be okay. So I'm going to just grab a couple of colors. Like I'll try, because different color families are going to be different. Look how different the black was. So I'll try like a green. Oh yeah, these go down very differently. Try like that kind of green, and then a really chromatic green. I'm putting them down, you know, I'm putting good pressure. I'm putting them down pretty thick. So we'll do a couple of greens. Do a couple of blues. Let's pick like an ultramarine. Is that an ultramarine? It says night blue. Maybe this is more like an ultramarine. Oh, the name's pulled off. It doesn't really matter, really. So I'll put this down. Oh, that is a dark blue. And then this, maybe I'll do a real light blue too. And let's try a red one. And I didn't put down a yellow. I meant to, but do I have room anywhere? Squeak one in down here. I have a bad habit of pulling my sketchbook out of my camera range. I need Dawn to build me an adjustment. Okay, let's see how these do in comparison. So this is, oh, so different. So different. How do I explain that? Huh. They broke down easier than the oil ones. Let me take the oil ones. Don't break down quite as easy, which means you can leave those sort of expressive marks in, which I really like. Yeah, see, I wonder if you can see, well, maybe I'll leave my sketchbook and zoom in, but they're thicker. They're oilier. They're, yeah, completely different texture. Much thicker. And you can pretty much get rid of the marks, but you can also leave them, which I like. I think it would be harder maybe to leave the marks in this one. Let's see, I'll go lighter on this. Yeah, wow, these blend out. You could leave the marks in these, but it's not the same. It's not the same as these. It just blends together. I think it's harder to leave the marks. But wow, very rich. The pigments are really rich on the Neocolors. Probably richer than these once they're blended out. Wow. Different product, completely different. It blends smoother. But if you're, oh, too much water. If you're looking, oh my gosh, this brush holds a lot more water than you would think it does. Wow. I've been using the Neocolor 1 set so much that I have lately. I haven't been using Neocolors this way. I don't think I've used them this way for a while. I forgot how nicely they spread. I should bring these down to my art nest. Okay, but I really think just from that, you can see the difference. If you're looking for, you know, your wash to retain the vibrance of color, and your wash to be more solid, more like maybe watercolor. Then the Neocolors are better than that. If you want more expressive marks and you want some of your line work to stay, I think you're going to enjoy these Mungyo oil pastels, because you really do get a nice texture in there. Like, I'm just thinking I'm going to ruin this with, I dropped my paper out on the floor. I dropped my paper on the floor, so I had to grab that. But, you know, like if you were doing a wooden table or whatever, or something where you wanted that texture, I would think that would be really nice to get those sort of lines in there. Also for scratching into, let's just do that real quick. Let's take a darker color. I liked this color. I have no idea where I'm going to use this video, if I'm going to use it on YouTube or Patreon, but let's just see what happens here. Yeah, you can scratch into this real nice. Now, can you do that? Let me take an even darker color, purple, and see what happens. Oh, yeah. That works good. Okay. Okay. Let's try something like that with a dark, let's pick a dark Neocolor. Yeah, it doesn't scratch into as good, which you would expect, right? You know? So they're good for that, too, if you want to scratch in texture and lines, like if you're doing a distant hill and you want to scratch in tree lines or grass lines in the foreground, the Mungyos work better than these. Let me just take this and see. The thinner, yeah. Nah, it just doesn't work with the Neocolor 2. So anyways, that is how I am getting myself warmed up in the studio, and whether it will lead to anything or not, who knows, you know, but it's doing something creative, which is really good for your nervous system, and that can lead to you feeling better, or at least handling the stress of not feeling well much better. And that is a good thing. That is a really good thing. These don't wear down as fast, too. Like, you know, if I scrubbed that hard with a regular oil pastel, it would have taken a hunk out of that oil pastel. But these don't wear down that fast. Yeah, it's a completely different texture. And then thinking about it now while I'm doing this, you know, it's so nice because one thing can lead you right into another. So I've got this. Why don't I let this dry? Well, maybe not. Let's see what happens with some of this black. It just gets your creative juices stirring, and you know you're only exploring, so you don't feel that pressure. You can just sort of do abstract explorations. And that is really good for the nervous system. Making a mess with all these crumbs. Wow, I didn't expect that. That's kind of cool. That actually is real cool. Now let me see what happens if I go back over this with a color. Now that's nice. It pushes it back. Ooh, I like that. So that it looks like those black marks are in the background. Now it's hard to, once the paper's wet, it's hard to lay this down. You can see what's happening. It's kind of pushing it around. Although the lines it was making were kind of cool. But I like that layering. Let me try that with a blue, like this really dark blue. Where would I want to put that? I kind of like all these marks. I don't really want to disturb them. Maybe I'll put a line of it over here and then go right over. I like this kind of taupe shape, so I don't really want to disturb that too much. Yeah, you can layer them. Can you do a light over it? Let's see, is this dry? None of this is really dry. They don't seem to work good wet over wet. Is this dry? A little bit. Let's try the white over that. This is how my white always gets messed up. Surprisingly, it does go over it. Wow. Is that wet? Still wet. Oh, I think I just ripped the page. Getting aggressive. I ripped it right through. Okay, yeah, this Art Creations paper doesn't like to be messed with too much. All right, so you guys get the point. There's quite a bit of play you can do with these. Yeah, wow. And in between you can combine the Neocolors with these for different effects. So that's just my sharing with you what I do when I come up here and don't feel good, don't feel motivated. Well, it's not even true to say that I don't feel motivated. I feel extremely motivated. I have tons of great ideas, but I just don't, I'm lacking in the energy department. So let me put this back here and then see. Yeah, okay, so when they dry, they're not smudgy. Yeah, they're not going to smudge onto your... Now these two, did I wet with water? I don't think I even wet these with water. I just left them. So if you don't wet them with water, they are going to smudge onto your other page. A little bit, but not even really that bad. But once you wet them with water, they don't seem to... Yeah, they don't seem to smudge onto your page. So that's kind of cool with these. Yeah. I don't know, I think it's a pretty cool product. I didn't know what to imagine with it. But I like them. I like them. So these are the Neocolors. Mungyo. Cool. And Abstract Craziness. Oh, one other thing I could try, just for kicks and giggles, is what would happen if I put a tiny bit of... I don't have my gesso cup over here. Let me grab this. What if I put a little tiny bit of gesso over it? I really like what's going on here. So where would I put the gesso? Maybe I'll see what happens. Boy, I don't know. I kind of like it. I don't want to mess it up. I do like this yellow area. Maybe I'll try it over some of this green and down here. See if it picks up the green or the black. You can get it to pick it up if you scrub a little bit. So that's kind of fun. Okay, I like it. I like the color it's making here, actually. That is kind of fun. So you can kind of turn it into paint and blend it with the gesso. I think I'm going to try a little bit more of it down here. Now what I'm going to do is take some of this and put it over the top, clean off the tip so I don't ruin it, and then, oh, the black got in there. But still, it worked. Probably should have cleaned my brush off better. Yeah, that black is really reactive. You got to be careful with that black. That's fun. I like it a lot. Let me see what happens if I dry this and then add more of this green and a little bit of yellow and a little bit more. Boy, for a video that I didn't even know I was going to make, this video is getting long already. Ooh, yes, you can. You can turn it into kind of a paint and mix your colors. Okay, this is wicked good potential for some loose, abstract, expressive art. Probably killing this Art Creations paper with all this water, but you can blend it out really nice. Okay, this video is probably getting so crazy long. Okay, but there you go. Kind of a fun piece to make just playing around. This paper is heavy. I was going to scratch into it, but I don't think it's going to tolerate any scratching. At this point, it's so... We'll just push it. Sometimes you got to just push it. Push things. Oh, the paper's falling apart. Cool. All right. I'm loving them. I'm loving them. Okay, so they got my vote. I like them a lot. I see potential for a really unique, application with these, and I'm not seeing it as being a repeat of something that I already have in the studio. So I am like super glad that I tested these out today. See, if I had come up here and felt great and done a self-portrait, these might have sat on my shelf without me knowing their full potential. But it's days like this, it's the exploring, the explorations that you can really, really have fun with. So don't sink into a place of discouragement when you don't feel like you're able to do what you might want to do in your studio. Come up and use that as a time of really joyful and playful exploration. It can be 5 minutes, it could be 5 hours, but see what happens. I'm always telling people, put some marks on paper and see where it goes. The thing is, they're only marks. You can go over it and over it with gesso and paint, and it's so hard for people, beginning artists and advanced artists, to let go of trying to bring something out immediately. And it's my passion to try to teach people that it's the mark making, it's the process, it's the experience. It doesn't have to be good art. But in this day of social media and Instagram and Facebook, unfortunately, a lot of people, myself included, some days, although I'm pretty good at knowing my limits, I know that if I push myself too hard, I will have a mast cell episode and I will be sick for a week. So I'm getting better at self-care that way. And I really like this. And you know what? It wouldn't matter if I didn't like this, because I still enjoyed it, had fun. I'm glad I had the energy to film it and share it with you guys. And I hope that you enjoyed it. So I thought I would jump back in here, because after I shut the camera off, this was that crazy swatching page that I had. So I took some of the Kuretake first and drew out some leaf shapes around the swatching, and then just took the gesso and just painted around the Kuretake leaf shapes. So it just goes to show you that when your energy is low or pain is high, just use what you have around you. Keep it uncomplicated and keep it playful. Okay, yeah, let me know if you enjoyed it in the comments, if you like this kind of content, and please click like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Mwah. God bless, happy creating, and go easy on yourself. I'll talk to you in the next video.